All right. So it's official. We have begun on, I think we're Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Welcome to the Virtual Inspired Recovery. Really excited today to talk with a couple gentlemen from Connecticut Community of Addiction Recovery, or CCAR, out in Connecticut. And really excited to, and also great to see some of the folks that are able to make it today. Wanted to take a moment just to do a quick round of introductions, if everybody's okay. Just if you don't mind saying your name, where you're from, and how you're doing today so far. Anybody want to start us off?
I can start off. My name is Bobby. I'm an EDRC recovery coach. I live in West Haven, Connecticut, and hey, I'm feeling really blessed this afternoon, rather.
Awesome. Great to see you, Bobby. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
My name is Tom Russo. I'm a person in recovery. I'm also the communications manager for CCAR, the Connecticut Community for Addiction Recovery, and I live down here in Southern Connecticut as well. And I'm grateful to be here with you all. Looking forward to an opportunity to talk to a recovery community outside of Connecticut today.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Tom. Thanks for doing this. Both you and Bobby. So anyway, I would like to, I really want to spend this time talking with Tom and Bobby about CCAR and their services that they provide. I think most of us, quite a few of us, have taken the CCAR Recovery Coach training. I was able to take it in Connecticut back in 2017 and just had an amazing time. Got a chance to learn about recovery coaching and meet people from all over the country. They do a phenomenal job. They're good at what they do. So really excited to kind of learn more about kind of the overall scope of CCAR. They don't just do recovery coach trainings. They do lots of other things. And I think Tom is kind of going to talk to us a little bit about what CCAR does and kind of give us the overhead view of CCAR. So appreciate it, Tom. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, Tory. And again, thank you for having us on here. It's just such a pleasure to be able to be talking to other people in the recovery community from a different part of the country, you know, because we're all here to help folks, and our mission is all very similar. So it's a pleasure to be here. CCAR is a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit, and we got our nonprofit, our 501c3 status in 1998. When we first started out in 1998, it was merely to put a face on recovery and to answer the question, where are people in recovery when decisions are being made about them at the legislature? So it really started out as an advocacy organization, and we started by just going up to the legislative office building in our capital city, Hartford, and educating legislators about the power, hope, and healing of recovery from substance and other addictions. And from there, it kind of grew. We started developing good relationships with state agencies here, and eventually began providing recovery support services. We got into training. We have a variety of recovery support services, and those entail 5 recovery community centers throughout the state, our emergency department recovery coach program. We have a DOC pilot program where we have recovery coaches working with the Department of Corrections. So things like that. And it really kind of grew into more of a full spectrum recovery community organization. The belief being that recovery is a community pursuit. It's not just the individual. There's also socioeconomic factors that go into people being able to sustain or maintain recovery. And we believe that, you know, building recovery community centers in the heart of communities that are affected by substance is one of the great ways to start to do more than just work with the individual. It's a way to try and create a culture that is competent enough to embrace everybody, so that when people come into our community centers and they identify that they're looking for help, we're simply there to support them how they need to be supported. We're not a treatment center, but those recovery community centers are just that. They're community centers that are there to support people the best way that they feel they need to be supported. Our emergency department recovery coach program is in more than 20 hospitals in the state of Connecticut, and is hopefully on track to be in all of them at some point in the near future. You know, it's a process, but So that, you know, and then in addition to all that, we also are probably the global leader in recovery coach training. We've developed a variety of unique curriculums specifically designed to help people craft their art and science of recovery coaching. So we've trained over 40,000 people, I believe, worldwide, and we have a variety of curriculum, everything from emergency department recovery coaching to, you know, things that deal with working with young adults, to our flagship training, the Recovery Coach Academy, which is like a full immersive 5-day experience in recovery coaching. So that's just some of it.
It's awesome, man. I gotta say that I said this a little bit earlier before we got on, but when we went down there for the training, we had thought that the training was going to be at one of the recovery community centers, and so. But when we found it, I mean, the place is like right smack dab, right in the community. You know, people can see it. You know, most of our communities in northern Michigan, like we're kind of one of those vacation communities. So a lot of people come up here where they say that they come up on vacation, leave on probation. You know, we have a lot of folks that come up here to drink, you know, and so there's a lot of those places. But as far as recovery resources, and sometimes where, yeah, you don't see those things plain view, you know, where you don't get a chance to see, you know, recovery community center just stick out like that. So I've just got to say, when we saw that, was just awesome. You know, it's like, boom, there's recovery right in the community. And you guys have 5 recovery community centers kind of spread throughout Connecticut, I guess, right? And
yes, sir. We've got 5. We recently opened our 5th one in Manchester, Connecticut. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, those places are intentionally placed in the heart of the community, in communities that are affected by substance, and so that's the goal. Our one of ours in Main Street, in Willimantic, is on Main Street, 713 Main Street, Willimantic, Connecticut. And again, it's not a treatment center. The whole idea is to just have a place where recovery can breathe, where seeds of hope can be planted. Again, not a treatment center, but we can help you get in touch with some treatment. If that's what you feel you need. If you want to just come in and get some free recovery coaching services and start talking about, hey, maybe I'm interested in getting into recovery, tell me about it. We don't force anything on you. You know, you come on in, we're happy to have you. We have employment services there to get people help connected to jobs and things like that. We help people develop their resumes. So it's like, again, and I steal this quote from our executive director all the time, but it's that we're trying to create a culture in these places competent enough to embrace everybody, really, and just to meet people where they're at. You probably heard that in the Recovery Coach Academy. Meeting people where they're at is one of the huge things that CCAR is about, because when you meet someone where you're at, you respect them as a resource, and you respect their own ability to know what's good for them, and you respect their dignity as a human being. And you know, that's something that we're trying to cultivate as well.
And you said it's a great thing. I love, you said, like, let the recovery community breathe. I thought that's a great quote. And I think having something centralized in the community where people can go, because obviously we know that treatment's going to be, you know, you're going to go into treatment, but then you're not going to stay in treatment. You're going to go back into the community that, you know, wherever you get to go back to. And sometimes people get to live in other communities, and sometimes they have to go back to the ones that they have. And it's a matter of what's available for them and their community to be able to sustain their recovery. So if you have a place centralized in the community, and I'm sure one of the questions that you don't ask is, do you have Blue Cross? Do you have Medicaid? You know, what kind of insurance do you have? Which is a lot of times one of the hardest questions that many of my colleagues have to ask, you know, before they even really talk with a person a whole lot, is if you qualify for coverage to be able to obtain your services. But with what you guys offer, what you guys have, you don't have to ask that question. Isn't that, it's kind of nice not have to do that?
Well, you know, and you know, that's the beauty of the recovery community organization model. You know, that's CCAR is an RCO, or a recovery community organization. Often, you know, these organizations are run by people that are in recovery, that have long-term sustained recovery and know what it takes. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's tremendously important that it happens that way. And, you know, another big thing that CCAR represents at those recovery community centers is multiple pathways of recovery. There is no fee for any of our services. If you walk into a recovery community center, you pay nothing. If you work with Bobby in the emergency department, you pay nothing. We've developed relationships that have enabled us to have these programs and these initiatives. And we believe that the way that recovery community organizations operate protect the nature, they protect these roles. The fee-for-service model, we believe, inhibits a recovery coach's ability to really do his job. Bobby is able to go in there and talk with people that he's working with as long as they need him, as long as, and he can do whatever. They can just, again, let it breathe. Unfortunately, when Bob tries to place folks sometimes when treatment is a blip, but when it comes time to place them, Bob does, I'm sure, and he'll shed some light on this, run into the insurance issue. But when it comes to people initiating with CCAR, no, there is no fee, there is no ask. It's simply, are you interested in, how can we support you in your recovery today? That's the ask, the only one.
That's great. Well, and I want to introduce Bobby as well, where I just got off the phone with Rebecca, and I'm having a hard time remembering her last name.
Rebecca Allen.
Rebecca Allen, thank you very much. And she had nothing but great things to say about both of you. But Bobby, just saying that, he's really done some amazing stuff through CCAR. So anyway, well, I appreciate all the information, Tom, and we'll certainly talk back, but certainly want to talk to Bobby as well and kind of learn a little bit about recovery coaching. And then kind of more specifically, you've gotten into the emergency room recovery coaching. How did you kind of get into some of this, Bobby? Do you mind me asking that?
Yeah, so I'm Bobby. I'm in long-term recovery myself. I'm an EDRC for CCAR, and I tell people all the time I didn't set out to become a recovery coach or anything like that. I started my journey just wanting to stay clean a day at a time. And like I talked to you earlier about going down to CCAR, I was, my sponsor recommended that I go down to CCAR and get involved, do some volunteer work. And I did that. And eventually from doing volunteer work, I went to the Recovery Coach Academy. And I continued to, after finishing the Recovery Coach Academy, I stayed down to CCAR, continued to, volunteer. And then I got a job at inpatient program for 2.5 years and 3.5 years. And then I came back over to CCAR. They had some positions open, and one of the coaches, a friend of mine, said, Bobby, hey, they have some openings. And I applied, and I landed the job. So I'm back home where I started, and grateful to be able to go into the EDRC, go into the emergency rooms to meet with people, who struggle with addiction from alcohol or drugs, and just need some support.